Welcome back to another episode of 40 Facts About the 40K Universe. I am your host, Gershwan, and you are watching One Mind Syndicate. Today we continue talking about Imperial citizens as we get into the ice worlds of the Imperium. If you guys are new to the channel, subscribe. We post Warhammer 40K content every single day. But with that said, let's get into 40 facts on ice worlds of the Imperium. An ice world is not an official Imperial planological classification, but is a term in common usage amongst Imperial citizens for those planets whose environments are frigid and glacier-covered across their entire surfaces. Since the term ice world is not an official Imperial classification of the Administratum, but simply a label used to describe the planet's predominant environmental feature, most ice worlds that have been settled by mankind are officially classified as civilized worlds, feral worlds, or even death worlds if the environmental conditions are hostile enough to human life. Ice worlds often produce hardy people, superbly adapt to combat in below-freezing conditions, and so become prime recruiting grounds for the Imperial Guard when it needs cold-adapted regiments. Large population centers on a surface of an ice world are extremely rare. Instead, populations are spread across the entire planet at mining bases, water processing facilities, herder stations, hydroponic works, chemical works, power plants, air bases, orbital landing fields, and many other industrial facilities. Most of these sites are subterranean to better provide protection from the cold. The temperature is easily controlled and maintained the further the facility is dug underground. Some ice planets are home to massive hive cities that are flipped on their heads and dug down. Very complex webs of underground highways connect the different Imperial facilities on ice worlds, a feat not easily accomplished due to the almost concrete structure of the packed Earth. Massive digging equipment must be sent during the colonization of these planets in order to make the planet habitable. Travel through these incredibly long tunnels can be extremely dangerous, as daily maintenance is also impossible due to the length of most of these structures. Suffering an accident on these highways is a guaranteed death sentence. The speed reached by most vehicles is so high that any miscalculated turn will result in a spin-off onto a concrete wall. If travelers get stranded in these highways, they better hope that their vehicle's heating system continues working, because if it breaks down, they will die in the extreme cold within hours. If the traveler can send for help, the likelihood of aid arriving in time to save them from the freezing death is extremely slim. If a traveler decides to leave the safety of their vehicle, they will need some sort of heating apparatus, or specially designed suits that make him impervious to cold. Even cybernetic augmentations will malfunction in these extreme cold temperatures. A long journey awaits the individual who decides to walk the barren tunnels. Their salvation will come when they are encountered by other travelers, but the chances of a passerby spotting a human-sized shape at the speed of most of these vehicles will be very unlikely. Even still, traveling through the tunnels is monumentally safer than traveling on the surface of most ice worlds. Ice worlds are home to the most extreme biological survivors, predators, bred by Mother Nature to be savage killers, capable of taking down an Astarte. The creatures range from dangerous ice bears to massive humanoid trolls. The plant life is even deadly enough to make any traveler wish they were buried deep beneath the ice-covered death trap. Primitive intelligent xenolife has been encountered on these planets, whole tribes that have been kept at bay because of a more advanced Imperial defense, such as autocannons and perimeter mines. Keeping the xeno scum on the planet guarantees the planetary defense force stays sharp and actively fighting, a strategy a planetary governor would use to make his tithes more valuable to the Adeptus Ministorum. This breeds stronger guardsmen. Should a traveler encounter these tribes on the surface, they will be met with hostility. Tribes almost always travel in groups, given the dangers of the frozen planet, even for the natives. This means that even a small group of natives could easily kill a single Imperial traveler. There are Imperial patrols around the vicinity of most Imperial facilities, but response to a distress call far from an Imperial base is always going to be slow. Patrols will have to rally a small force to enter the frozen wilderness. Until then, survival is left to the defender. Some frozen worlds weren't always this cold. Natural planetary shifts, interstellar warfare, or cosmological anomalies have changed a once prosperous world into a frozen rock. Ancient civilizations have been discovered on many frozen worlds, from ruined cities dating back to the Dark Age of technology to the remains of Xeno shipwrecks. The Adeptus Mechanicus has always made a strong effort to scan each and every frozen planet in the hopes of detecting valuable technology. When something of note is discovered, ships from the nearest Forge world are sent out to unearth whatever wonders are hidden beneath the ice crust. Ice worlds are great value to the Adeptus Mechanicus, even if nothing ancient is discovered, because the technology used to maintain a stable living on these planets is something that requires a strong connection to the machine spirit that powers most of these plants. Giant furnaces that heat up the underground hives of these planets are venerated by the Adeptus Mechanicus tech priests. The warmth they provide to each Imperial citizen is seen as a work of the Omnissiah's love toward humanity. In reality, the inner workings of most machines on ice worlds are extremely ancient, and the knowledge behind their technology has long been lost. The AdMech tries its best to maintain their machine spirit, but no amount of ritual or sacrifice can make up for technological knowledge. Whole sections of subterranean hive cities have been closed off or abandoned due to decaying machinery that has existed on the planet since the Great Crusade. The AdMech blames the malfunctions on the touch of chaos, or a stubborn machine spirit. On the planet of Ivory 3, there have been reports of hundreds dying overnight. The incident was blamed on demon incursion by the Imperial investigator, but the reality is a malfunctioning furnace releasing carbon monoxide into the living quarters of hive cities was the true culprit to the mass death. The extreme climate also gives the AdMech the opportunity to venture into even more extreme augmentation rituals. Tech priests have been known to drain their entire bodies of blood and replace it with a synthetic fluid that mimics human blood, but also acts like antifreeze. This allows the tech priests to venture into cold climates for longer. The Magi biologists are always at work on ice worlds in an effort to make the population more resilient to the cold temperatures. This will improve the stock of guardsmen that the planet can produce. The process by which they go about creating more durable soldiers is oftentimes extremely gruesome. The Magi go into intensive biological testings of unwilling test subjects. The experimentation is carefully watched by the Inquisition to ensure the testing doesn't get out of hand and abominations are created. Mining is the primary reason most ice worlds are settled by the Imperium, and as such, the civilian population of these planets are workers. The daily life of a civilian on these ice worlds consists of working the mining rigs set up thousands of years ago by the original settlers. Unlike manufactorums, the workers on ice planets are well equipped to work under extreme conditions. Heavy clothing and strict regulations maintain a work environment that does not risk the life of its miners. This is because the cost of each human comes with a heavy loss to the work and to the tithe output. Whereas most hive dwellers tend to have many offspring, the average Imperial family on an ice world limits themselves to have 1 or 2 children per family. This is due to the increased stress the woman's body takes on from living in such cold environments. Life underground also starts to become taxing on an Imperial population. The cramped corridors and the lack of nutrition has led to most workers being smaller than the average Imperial citizen. This only applies to workers, but never to the soldiers, who are guaranteed to be well fed. There are ice worlds that have varying degrees of temperature. In these planets, the population may venture into the wilderness and establish towns and cities that have been protected by their own accord. These towns are old and well established. It is from these locations that Astartes often find recruits similar to the tribes of Fenris. And those were 40 facts on ice worlds. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you like this video, share it with your friends on Facebook, Twitter, or whatever social media you guys use. I hope it inspires you to create your own regiment or chapter lore. And of course, if you have any suggestions, comment down below. Now, a couple days ago or a week ago, I can't remember, we were giving away the sprue to all the awesome Chaos no, they're not Primaris. All the Chaos Marine stuff that came in the No Fear box set. And now it's time to announce the winner. So the winner for that is that guy. All you have to do is contact us on Facebook, Instagram, or here on YouTube. Direct message us, say, hey, I won, and give us your address and we'll ship out your prize to you. Again, it's going to be the sprue along with the base to each individual model from the sprue. So the box itself I'm keeping because I already painted up the Primaris Marines. I'm not really going to use all the Chaos stuff. So thank you so much for participating. Stay tuned, guys, because at the end of this month, towards Thanksgiving, we're going to do a big subscriber appreciation giveaway. So don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for participating, and I'll see you tomorrow. This was Gersh1 with One Mind Syndicate, signing out.